Wait, what are we introducing?
I think we should
Prepare for this. I'm nervous now. Did Ben usually start?
Usually, actually, we haven't made enough of these to establish a pattern. Let's try something here.
Okay.
Hey, I'm John.
Hey, I'm Ben.
Nah, we're just kidding. That's so stupid.
You come into my house, you say my wife's name right. Hey, Ben here.
Nope. Hey, Ray and Jay here. John's on duty and Ben is lifting.
Excited to present to you the 4th video in the 7-video series on the 3 guys hike around Oahu.
Hope you enjoy.
Yeah.
$90 miles. How y'all feel?
I feel rough.
Feel good. I'm happier when there's 0 miles left.
Yeah.
A lot happier.
I look forward to these interviews and the little bit of sleep I get on the ground. I slept 20 minutes in the concrete. I slept like a baby.
I was stuck in a gutter like a rat.
So good.
I think the beginning of the 3rd day is where like it got real, and like a lot of interesting things happened. We linked up with multiple different people that we knew, and just like went through. That's when we took the city. We took Honolulu at that point. And that was like
it felt
ridiculous.
It felt like we went way further. Like the first day and a half, like going all the way up. I don't know, and then whenever we were walking towards the city, it was like we weren't gaining any ground for sure. And like maybe mentally, I think that part of the island, that's very wide, like from the south side of Kaena Point to like the lighthouse.
Yeah. And we started walking like early the night before too.
Yeah.
Because from the time we woke up around 6 o'clock that second night, walking, and then we stopped at midnight in Honolulu. We had already made it past Electric Beach.
Yeah, we stopped at Electric Beach.
That's when Kaylin came.
Yeah, so we like got up and then started moving on that second day, and we stopped at Electric Beach, and that's where we bumped into another person. It happened to be this lady, and we bumped into her, and she was asking us all these very pointed questions like, "Where are you guys coming from?" And we're like, "Oh yeah, we're coming from Kailua," and she was like, "Oh, well, what bus did you get on?" And we're like, "We didn't get on a bus, like we walked here." And then she thought that we had like walked the trail here, and we're like, "No, we like walked to kind of pointing around," and she like could not fathom that we had walked almost 100 miles to Electric Beach from Kailua.
Yeah.
She was blown away.
Yeah. She was not understanding what we were saying.
This is early in the morning.
This is really early in the morning, really late. No, it was late at night.
Yeah, I think it was like
10
it was
10
like
o'clock.
10 o'clock.
Probably.
Yeah.
10
We stepped off at like 7:30.
Yeah.
Walked like probably 10
Because
miles.
they were about to close the beach, and they closed at 10. But that was kind of a cool part too. Is we saw a few people actually who like took notice of us like walking around the island.
Yeah.
Our buddy on the bike, that woman at Electric, some other guy.
Well, remember the guy at the North Shore?
Yeah.
The
North
sea
Shore.
cucumbers or something?
Yeah. He gave us, like,
saw us. He's like,
Sea asparagus.
Yeah, he was like, see us. Yeah, so he had seen us in Kailua at like midnight, or
No, I think he saw us when we took our first break at Kailua Ranch.
I think you're right.
What's it called?
Yeah, Kuloa Ranch.
Kuloa Ranch.
Yeah, he saw us there.
Because he was like, wait, I saw you guys. Like, what are you? Because he like, we were walking on the side of the road, and like, it was like one of those.
It's like a work
big,
van. You pulled over.
Yeah, big work van. And he like came to a screeching stop and like pulled over. And we're like looking at each other. Yeah, every time something sketchy happened, we'd always take our headphones out. And we're like a little bit higher alert because like
grab that pocket knife.
Yeah.
he like hopped out of his car. He was like super friendly. I don't remember like.
Yeah, he's like, hey, I've been watching you guys. You guys walking earlier? We're like, yeah. He's like, oh, I got it. Come grab this stuff, and gave us like sea asparagus. It was super salty, which is good for us, but it's pretty gross, honestly.
It was supposed to. It was like a garnish to be eaten with like something else, some sort of like sushi maybe, and we just had like a half a pound of it.
We were just eating it. Because at that point we were just so hungry.
He's like, just don't throw the plastic on the ground. We're like, yeah, we won't do that. I got a little backpack, I'll throw in that, we're good. And then we like started eating. It was like, wow, this is the saltiest thing I've ever eaten in my life.
Yeah.
It's like, holy cow.
It like grows in the ocean, so it's like.
Yeah.
And there was that construction crew over by Kahuku's too. They said the same thing. Like, were you guys walking?
Yeah.
We couldn't like hear them very well, but like they're like, you guys are walking. I'm like, yeah, we're walking. It was like walking, you know. But they knew we were walking like all morning up through because they were doing work early in the morning. I'm imagining coming up that way, and they saw us, and then we passed them. So that was like a kind of cool thing is seeing people throughout our movement all around. And then Aldrich Beach midnight. We're down by Honolulu and going through the city.
Gotta give
took some
Kayla a shout
interesting-
out.
Going through the night through Honolulu, that was kind of tough too. That was like really wearing on us. We were going slow. We slept at the McDonald's for a little bit.
Yeah.
We went down that long like downhill road in the dark. We talked about a little bit earlier was due to COVID, everything was shut down. And we come to one of our checkpoints. Mikey's parallel parked outside of like a KFC or something, you know, and everything's closed because it's like 2 a.m. and COVID, you know. So we're all bopping around, you know, and I'm like, I really gotta go to the bathroom, you know what I mean? There's this park, and there's a bathroom in the park, and at this point, it's not really up to me if I feel the bathroom or not. It's happening, whether I want it to or not, you know. And I go, and it's locked, and I went in the park, you know. I'm just gonna go in the park, so I'm just gonna go to the bathroom in the park, you know. 2 a.m, just gotta do what you gotta do, and then went and met up with these guys and went to sleep.
Yeah, I just slept on the sidewalk.
Yeah, we were gross. We were disgusting.
Yeah, I just stopped and laid down on the sidewalk and just slept straight on the sidewalk into the car. I remember that.
Yeah.
The first like 5, so after we got to Electric Beach, the first like 5 or 6 miles after Electric Beach, we walked the H1. And we were just on the H1 and cars were like blasting by us and we were just like getting it. And then it got to a point where we had to go, we had taken the H1, we would have gone more interior. We wanted to stay closer to the shore. So we had to cross both lanes, the H1.
It's like 8 lanes of traffic.
Yeah, it was 8 lanes of traffic, and it was like we could add like 400 meters, which doesn't seem like a lot of distance, but to go like up and around on the bypass, or we could just like run across traffic. And we waited for like a gap in the traffic, and we like ran across. But there was like a Jersey barrier in the middle that was like 3 feet high on one side, but
It was like, felt like 12.
6 feet high on the other side. So we like vault this Jersey barrier into the void and like crash into the grass. We're like, oh my god! And then like
I think you were the first one over. Right?
yeah, I was like,
You're like
Taking the hill.
yeah, get across the next 4 lanes, and then we took an off ramp, and then got like off the H1, and then that's where
That
we
was
went into
sketchy.
this hill. And I don't even know where we were. It was just pitch black, and it was just this very constant downhill, kind of like a dirt road maybe, or like a loose gravelly road, and that took us somewhere back in Pearl Harbor maybe. I don't even know.
We ended up at McDonald's
Yeah.
for that stop. We slept there, got up, met Mike at that one stop, which he parallel parked very well. Cut to scene of Mike at parallel parking, and then we got up there, and that was a really tough wake up. And from there, we pushed even more east. I think that's when we started. I think from there is where we linked up at the beach with Ray, Caroline. Nope, we
That
ended
was
up
way
at the food.
yeah, that was-
We ended up at the food.
Well,
then.
even that was way
Yeah.
longer.
So
you skipped like a lot.
It was
Yeah.
still dark. What-
So
there was-
no. So like when we got up from McDonald's, we were like at the very edge of Honolulu, right?
Right.
It was like 2 a.m.
And
though.
it was getting to be like probably like 5 a.m. because I remember we went to a Starbucks and I was like pleading with them to let me go inside to go to the bathroom, and they had like, you know, they opened.
I remember
in like,
this.
They opened in like 20 minutes, and they were like, absolutely, we will not let you come in here. So Starbucks, if you're out there, like, you gotta
Shame on
you gotta work on your customer service because like
Yeah.
you were there for servicing for people, mostly coffee, but you also have a bathroom. And it's not even one of those things where like I was like gonna pay. I would have done anything. Just use the restroom. I would have cleaned it. They needed me to like work for them for a
That was
little
like
while.
a constant struggle. Was like finding
Right.
somewhere to sleep and finding somewhere to go to the bathroom because
Yeah.
none of those things were available.
I think because it's like a big company, and like that girl had like she had no like buy-in.
If you're
If it was
watching
like if it was like a mom and pop like coffee shop and like the owner was there opening, because they were opening, the lights were on, they would be like, oh absolutely, come on in, what do you guys do? Oh yeah. yeah, we'll give you some coffee. We're not open yet, but it doesn't really matter because we're here to make money and like sell products and make people happy. But I couldn't believe it. I was so upset. And it partly because like we hadn't slept and it was like I had to go to the bathroom and it was also like a principal thing that I didn't want to leave. I wanted to keep like asking, which is like super uncommon if anybody knows me. No, I'm just kidding.
That's another logistical thing though, that like going towards the North Shore we didn't really run into, like using the bathroom, because you could stop and there's like trees and you could go pee real quick. But as we got into Honolulu, at that point you couldn't go to the bathroom unless you went to an establishment. The majority of stuff was closed.
Yeah, it made it a lot harder.
Or the gas station would be open, but you couldn't go in there and use the bathroom because of COVID.
Right.
So like now you're like really starting to like, where am I going to go to the bathroom? There's nowhere to pee in Honolulu. Like, so that became an issue. Remember that? There was another part in Honolulu. Honolulu seemed to stretch on forever.
It did.
And it's way more difficult because we were literally on one road going the whole first thing of it. But now we're in Honolulu, we're like, we keep like getting on like highways and getting off highways and like making it like in blocks and like trying to get to where we need to go.
We came to a river and there was like no way to cross the river in Honolulu. It was like you could go like, because everything's designed for vehicles, not for like human traffic. Then you think a mile down the road and a mile back in a car is nothing, but like on foot at mile 104, 2 miles is from here to the moon. It's this ridiculous amount of distance. So we're like, we're gonna swim this thing. So we just took like the interstate bridge. We were just like, we'll just go up the interstate.
I was looking for a break. We got popsicles, right?
Yeah. We like jumped on this. We like jumped the guardrail onto the interstate and then went up the interstate. And it was like the interstate, like cars were everywhere. There was like construction on the downside, and there was all these cops, and no one said anything to us. We're just like walking by, like.
And it's not the middle of the night anymore.
Yeah,
it's like 10 o'clock.
Yeah, middle of the day. Cops are making obvious eye contact with us, and we're just like, ew, and just kept going. And then we like got down back into Honolulu.
So we were right. I think we were right next to the housing for Hickam. Remember we like went through like base housing, but it was like very accessible, or like Navy housing. There was a Next or something. But we like came to this point where we were underneath the like highway. So there was like, you couldn't look up and see the sky. It was like, 12 different bridges that we were underneath. And we were like, we spent probably like, it felt like a half hour, like between looking at our phones and like looking at these different, it's like 3 that go this way, 1 that's low, 1 that's high, all the different like off ramps and like, and we like, I feel like we spent a lot of time there. And we like went down to like, we dropped down below and thought there was maybe a trail.
The bike trail.
Yeah, there was like a bike trail or something, but it was a dead end. And it was like somebody's like living room that like, it was a homeless guy.
Yeah, someone's like on the bridge.
Yeah, so then we came back up and I think that I just started walking on one of the
Yeah,
I was like,
it wasn't me. I was like, these guys are leaving me. I gotta catch up.
I was just like, I was pretty sure that because I'm like looking at it and following like the way it looked, but it's difficult because there's like, they all kind of like go over top of each other. And then I'm like comparing that to my phone and I've got like Micah dropping me your pin. And I was just like, this has got to be it. And it was one of those things where it's like, even if it's the wrong decision, like we just got to like keep moving. So, and it worked out, I think. We crossed the river and like he said, we were on like the actual highway again. And it was like a Saturday at 10 o'clock going into Honolulu where like everybody does on the weekend.
Yeah. There's like trucks and everything going past and we're just like walking the shoulder. It was great.
And then another situation of like, I think you were trying to go to the bathroom this time. You went to like 4 or 5 different restaurants.
Oh yeah, because the gas station wouldn't do it. Like Carl's Jr. wouldn't do it.
Yeah. We stopped at a gas station for like our next checkpoint. And Micah had like the whole spread set up, a whole breakfast all set up on a table.
Shout out Micah and Lon.
Yeah.
And Bobby.
Bobby was there too.
Yeah, he brought us popsicles.
Right. Yeah.
Because we had he passed us. He drove past. Remember that? He drove past us with his surfboards on, and we're all like, Bobby. And then I think he like got in contact with us or Micah. We like, hey, just talk to Micah. Here's our next point, and then he just pulled around and met us. Micah had us a nice spread. It was cool. She set up like the corner of a parking lot of a gas station. Used the van again to block us.
It's like a curtain.
A curtain. Set up a little spot for us. We went, chowed down, high five Bobby, ate some popsicles, and racked out.
Just right in the middle, like in the parking
just
spot.
In the parking lot, just like dead to the world. We'll do 15 minutes again.
Yeah. And
45 minutes later.
Right. Time goes by so fast, especially when you're so tired. The worst thing about getting going again, and I didn't really feel it, like I said, I really felt it the first time, was when you went to the park and we slept like on the sidewalk right there, was like my feet hurt, but my right hip was on fire.
Your hip flexor?
Yeah, and it was like starting off, it was like starting off and my legs were like chopsticks. I couldn't even bend any part of my body. And then like maybe a quarter of a mile in, I'd start to get back to being flexible again. And then my body would kind of just go numb and I'd be like moving again. But man, that's the start off was just terrible.
Every time.
Every time.
After like I would say after the first day. The first day was like,
Easy.
It was a lot, 42 miles, but it's one of those things where it's not that big of a deal. Like we didn't train to do that, but you can like I think it's just like, or our bodies, like we could do that. And if it would have been over the first day, it would have been no big deal.
Oh yeah.
But then it was
super
just
easy.
like continuing to add to that.
Yeah.
Day 3 where it was like, okay, like not finishing it is not an option.
Absolutely
But like
not.
this is not gonna be fun. Like this is gonna hurt.
Yeah.
And this is gonna require a lot of like mental fortitude to like finish this thing. It's just like just beat red.
That's what I was afraid was gonna happen to me, like at the other park, was I was gonna fall asleep in the sun and just get fucking torched.
We spent a decent amount of time on the highways last night.